People of the internet, welcome into another edition of Ravens Rundown, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. On today's show, we got a lot that we are going to discuss, including, is Rashad Bateman a legit number one wide receiver in the NFL? We'll also look back on the 2018 draft for the Ravens with some draft grades that were given out. And a look ahead to Lamar Jackson's 2022 season with some stat projections that we'll give you at the end of the show. Let's go ahead and start out with Rashod Bateman and the question about his transition to being the leading receiver for this Ravens bunch. Now, we know that the tight end spot is going to be filled by Mark Andrews, that he is going to be the go-to target for Lamar. But Rashod Bateman filling in this role after the departure of Marquise Brown, is he ready to go? Because we'll be honest, the numbers last year from Bateman were not great, considerably speaking. Here's the rundown on Bateman. Bateman will be the top option this year at wide receiver with the trade of Hollywood Brown there. Played decent in his rookie season. And he spoke about his expectations on Marlon Humphrey's podcast. Here is the quotes from Bateman saying, "I feel like Baltimore drafted me for a reason. They drafted me to be in this position. For me, all I've been waiting on is the opportunity. I know what I'm capable of. I feel like the Ravens organization knows what I'm capable of. I'm just excited to go out and finally show it to the fans and especially to my teammates for sure." So, want to hear from you guys. If you think that Bateman can be a legit number one wide receiver, then like the video. Show it. Like the video and let us know if you think Bateman can be a legit number one wide receiver for the Ravens. When you look back at the college statistics from Bateman, they were pretty good, right? 31 games played, 19 touchdowns, 2,300 yards, and the average yards per catch is what really stands out to me. He was a deep threat at Minnesota at 16.3 yards per reception. And of the receivers coming back this year for the Ravens, he's the one that is the biggest threat, that had the best statistics from last year with that 500 yards that he had compared to Devin and James, and that group there just wasn't that great. 500 yards, just one touchdown, though, for Rashod Bateman. Now, I got to tell you, I like Rashod Bateman. I think that there's a lot of potential with him, but I still need to see more. This is going to be a big step up that we're looking at what Bateman is going to take. 500 yards and one touchdown as your number one receiver. I don't care if Mark Andrews had 1,500 yards as a tight end, if that were to happen. 500 yards and one touchdown is not going to be enough for Bateman. He is going to need to take a massive step up. Yardage-wise, probably double from what it was. Touchdown-wise, I'm going to need at least 6 tutties from Bateman when it's all said and done. At the very least 6. He is going to need to take a big jump if he is going to be a legit number one wide receiver. That is the gamble that the Ravens are taking on Bateman at this point. So, with knowing where the wide receiver depth chart is for the Ravens, do they need another wide receiver to add to their arsenal? Let me know in the comment section. This is our pinned comment today. And so you're going to get an ad break here. And while the ad is playing, get your votes in and tell us, A, for add a wide receiver, G for we're good, homie. We got it all figured out. We'll roll with what we have. Let me know in the comment section. A for add a wide receiver, G for we're good. The 2018 draft for the Baltimore Ravens was phenomenal. And when I look at the Ravens scouting department, historically speaking, these guys are as good as anybody in the NFL, and it's proven out to be over the last few years. This year's draft in 2022 was awesome, right? Well, 2018, according to the nerds at Pro Football Focus, gave the Ravens an A-plus rating for their draft back in 2018. Now, let's go back to the hot tub time machine in just a moment and show you what that draft looked like for the Ravens. You can see that with the number 25 pick, they took Hayden Hurst. And then they wrapped up the first round getting the future MVP Lamar Jackson with the final pick in the first round of the draft. The other picks included Orlando Brown. He's now playing for the Kansas City Chiefs, but He's turned out to be a pretty good player at that left tackle spot there in Kansas City. They picked him in the third round out of Oklahoma. And they also picked Mark Andrews out of Oklahoma with that 86th pick. And he's turned out to be one of the top 3 or 4 tight ends in the entire league. Anthony Everett, of course, was picked in the 4th round at 118. We'll have more on this in just a moment. Before we do, our show is presented by Fanatics today, and there's quite the deal that Fanatics has going on. You see that shirt and that hat? Looks good, doesn't it? Charm City Football. Man, I get fired up just looking at that thing. Well, here's your opportunity to get your hands on the hat and T-shirt combination. Quite the steal that we have for you. $30 is all. That's it. Just $30. 25% off to get the T-shirt and the hat, and the only way to do so is by going to chatsports.com/RavensCombo. That's chatsports.com/RavensCombo to get your Ravens hat and T-shirt for just $30. So more from Pro Football Focus on the Ravens draft back in 2018. They said when a team drafts an MVP with the 32nd overall pick, that's Lamar Jackson, by the way, chances are it was an A-plus draft. When it gets 2 more Pro Bowlers in the 3rd round, chances are that team had an all-time draft. Here's more. The Ravens' 2018 draft class is certainly among the 5 best over the past decade. Even the Hurst selection looks far better when you realize the Ravens were able to recoup a 2nd rounder that turned into J.K. Dobbins. This draft really set the stage for the Ravens offense we have seen for the past few years. So let's break this up one by one. Obviously, drafting Lamar Jackson was a home run. When you look at the other quarterbacks that were picked in the 1st round of that draft, there was 5 total quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield went number 1 to Cleveland, and they can't get rid of him soon enough. There was a guy by the name of Josh Allen who turned out pretty good for the Buffalo Bills. And then after that, it was, yikes. Sam Darnold hasn't really worked out. The Jets sent him packing. Josh Rosen, I don't think he ever played it down in the National Football League. At least didn't feel that way. That went so quick. So for the Ravens, to have all those quarterbacks get picked above Lamar, who was a Heisman winner, and to pick him at 32, remember, there was some folks out there that thought Lamar Jackson should have been playing running back. Boy, did he prove them wrong, right? It was a home run, Lamar Jackson at 32. But the Ravens being able to flip Orlando Brown and Hayden Hurst for top picks, grand slam. Look, Orlando Brown is a really good player, and he is going to get paid a whole lot of money by Kansas City more than likely. And Hayden Hurst, to get J.K. Dobbins in that situation, credit where credit's due. The Ravens front office made the moves they needed to do. And now, the only thing missing at this point, you've seen that the groundwork has been laid out, that was a historic draft. In 2020 was a really good draft. Now where's the ring? Put the ring on it, right? That's what's the only thing is missing here. The groundwork has been laid. Now let's see what they can do with it. Say what you will about the Ravens trades, but they always get good value in return. They know what they're doing. That management group there in Baltimore, they're pretty smart guys. I can tell you that much right now. Ravens rundown here on the channel. We want to hear from you guys. Rank the Ravens front office among the entire NFL. There are 32 different front offices representing 32 teams in the league. So here is your chance to tell us in the comments section. Rank the Ravens 1 through 32. Put a number on it where you would rank the Ravens front office among the rest of the National Football League. And while you're down there, if you like to smash, I got good news for you. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button to the Ravens Rundown so you never miss a moment of Ravens Rundown. We're bringing you daily content on the Baltimore Ravens. No one else on the internet is doing what we are doing, so subscribe now and you will find out the latest Ravens news and rumors right here from Chat Sports. We got you covered. And another thing that we want to look at today, Bleacher Report put together a stat projection for every starting quarterback in the National Football League, including Lamar Jackson for 2022. We will give you those numbers, what they look like for Jackson, and here is what they are. As Jackson is in a contract year, trying to play for that big payday, and Bleacher Report shows the passing numbers not great. for their expectations for Lamar. You can see 15 picks. That's almost a pick every game. Less than 65% completion percentage, 25 touchdowns, 3,100 yards. The rushing numbers, though, look really good, folks. You're talking about just over 900 yards, 5 touchdowns, just under 6 yards a carry. The rushing numbers I can live with all day. If that's what he puts up, I'll take that any day, twice on Sunday. That's great. I think Lamar's passing numbers, I think that was disrespectful on the part of Bleacher Report. I think Lamar has a much better year passing than what the expectation is for him there. I think it will be a big year for Lamar Jackson. He's in a contract year. He's trying to prove himself. We don't need to show you this. We've already done it a number of times. What quarterbacks are getting paid these days in the NFL, it's a lot of money. And Lamar Jackson enters 2022 gambling on himself. He knows, coming off a disappointing 2021, that if he has a big year, he will get paid and he will get a nice long-term contract. And so with that being said, Lamar, not only does he want to win a lot of football games, does he want to take this team deep into the postseason, but for his own right, he will play with a chip on his shoulder, and he will not disappoint. I can tell you that much right now. So let me know in the comment section. Will Lamar Jackson have a career year this season? Will he be back to MVP form in 2022? Let me know in the comments. Type Y for yes, type in for no if you think it will be a career year for the former MVP.